Welcome back to the Social Seller Podcast with Conor Paulsen, where we interview the world's highest quality communicators, professionals, business owners, creatives, and everything in between. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're a high quality communicator, there's a good chance you're living a lot happier life, but you're also bringing those opportunities into your life almost like a magnet. My guarantee is that on this show, we only interview people that I, one, look up to, and two, that I know are going to continue to kill the game for years to come, and I want to make sure they're on your radar. But what I've learned is by asking the best questions, we get the best responses, and that's what the highest quality communicators, our social sellers, are all about. Let's hop inside to the Social Seller Podcast. Welcome back. We are excited. We're going to hop right in. So we have Steph Teagan, Anna Ferreira.
Ferreira. Everybody does Ferrari. It's fine. I'm expensive.
We'll talk about the family relation here in a little bit. So excited. Now, I just want to hop in. I know we're all busy professionals. We've been trying to make this work between the three of us for like a couple months. And the fact that everyone's in San Diego, none of us grew up here. And let's dive in, right? Now, Steph, we did episode 6 together.
Yeah, we did.
And we got a bunch of awesome feedback. We talked about relationships. And all three of us have been in long-term committed relationships, no longer in those. And I think that can bring a really cool dynamic today. So let's hop in because this is kind of off the cuff. And I think that's how it's going to be fun. Anna, where'd you grow up? What brought you to San Diego?
So, what brought me to San Diego? Who brought me to San Diego? So, I grew up in Orlando. I am Brazilian. English was my first language. I came to the U.S. when I was like 1.5, and by the time I was 12, my parents were like, wow, you are so American. You need to know your culture, you need to know your people, and you need to know your language. And I was like, no. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, we're taking you to Brazil. And I was like, you're ruining my life. And they took me to Brazil. I traveled the country because I have family all over, and I learned how to read, write, speak, and I met my people, and I met my country, and I thought they were ruining my life, but honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It honestly created the human being that I am today. My morals, my personality, my warmth, and my love for people came from spending that time in Brazil with just the most loving family and being able to witness the poverty that there is there, because you never realize how lucky you actually are until you see how other people live. And it's like in Brazil, people are so poor. And like normal jeans, not name brand, are like 300 reais, which is the money there. And everyone's like living check to check, but they're so happy and they don't need more. And then you come to the US and it's like, if you work a minimum wage job, you can still live, you can still go out on the weekends, you can still enjoy it. And it just made me so grateful. And so went to Brazil for a year, and then every summer until I was 18, I would spend the summer there with my family. Incredible. And then in Orlando, turned 21. I had a friend.
So this is 2 years ago for her. She's 23.
Oh my God, attack.
No, I need to get some context.
So for my I had some friends that lived in LA. And one of them had a Tesla Model X. We were like 3 best friends, and it was about to be my 21st birthday. And 3 days before my birthday, they all blocked me on social media. One of them, as I mentioned before, had a Tesla Model X, and that comes into play later. I was so upset. These are my best friends. These people mean the world to me. I was really getting tired of Orlando. I was going to University of Central Florida, and everything just became the same. It was always just going to bars, getting drunk. I don't really drink. So it got repetitive, and I was tired of that, and I was tired of the friendships that I was having. No matter what we planned, if it was beach, bowling, restaurant, no matter what, everyone would bail and just go drink. And I didn't drink, so it got boring. And those people that lived in LA and were my best friends, they were my outlet. And they blocked me on everything, and I didn't do anything. It's about to be my birthday, like what? And my parents live 30 minutes away. I'm in my new apartment. I'm throwing like a party. And I am driving back, and I see a Tesla, and I'm like, can I cuss?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, fuck that Tesla. And then I like drive past it, and I park at my house, and I'm like, everyone's there. Everyone's at my house. I'm not dressed. I am a sad girl. And everyone, like, they have, like, the sign for me with my dares, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, like, you know, like, when you're in a music video and I'm, like, looking out my bedroom window.
And there's rain dripping
And I'm
down.
just, like, sad and I have no makeup on. And a Tesla Model X pulls up. And I'm like, what? What is happening? And all three of them jumped out of the car. And it was the most incredible thing. So they blocked me so I wouldn't see what's happening. They were filming content the entire time. It was this big surprise. We went out. We had so much fun. I mentioned I don't drink. I had a bunch of dares. Every time someone said happy birthday, I had to take a shot. I had to make a shot with the bartender. I had to like do all these like 21 dares, right? So first hour, I blacked out and they took me home.
Solid.
They flew in for an hour.
No, they drove in. It took 3 days to drive from LA to Orlando.
Oh, wow.
And blacked out, went home, went to bed, woke up in the morning. Everyone's still at my house. All my friends are there. And I'm like, oh my God, happy day. And then they sit me down and they're like, listen, the surprise was not your only present. We're going to take you to 21 states and then to Vegas. Because at the end of the month was another one of their birthdays. And I was like, so the way my parents and my life works, no. And they're like, so you have an hour to decide. I packed so fast. Like, I had just moved into this place. So I literally just, like, everything was unboxed. I didn't even have a bed frame yet. Like, my life was a mess. I just put stuff in a suitcase. I put my stuff in the car. We went to Key West because we were going to start at the southernmost point, and then we traveled the country. Went to Vegas, had so much fun, and then a really weird thing happened when we were in Vegas where I was at the airport. I had my ticket, and they couldn't find a seat for me on the airplane, but I had my ticket. And, you know, being 21 and all, I have no patience. So it took more than 5 minutes of them, like, trying to figure it out. My friends come in, they're like, why don't you just go to LA and we'll fly you out from there. And I was like, okay. I go to LA and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to live here. So I just moved in with them. They had, like, a little content house in Marina Del Rey. It was amazing. And then...
I haven't even heard some of these points.
Oh, my God.
No.
And then, so I was dating one of the people there, and we broke up. And a week later, I met my ex-boyfriend. And it was, like, instantaneous. Like, we just fell in love, and it was adventurous, and it was fun. The first day we met, like, I didn't really give him the time of day. Like, I remember him, the second we met, like, there was a thing. And I remember him trying to get my attention. I wasn't drinking. He was, like, trying to dance with me, and I'm like, tee-hee-hee-hee, ha-ha-ha-ha. And he was, like, dancing with other girls, trying to get my attention, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, have fun. And, like, that night, he, like, bought me flowers when we got out of the club, like, was, like, doing the most. And then I was just like, relax. Just got out of a relationship, don't want it. And I just thought he was, like, some party guy. And, running it back, I was hanging out with one of my friends who's a videographer, and her best friend was like, oh, my friend, how do I explain this? Okay, I was hanging out with my friend. We were taking pictures. She's a videographer and a photographer. And we have a mutual friend who had friends in town for what's the name of that game? The Wheel of Fortune? No, it's not. It's What's Your Price? The Price is Right.
Price is Right.
What's your price? That could be a totally different show. What's your price?
The Price is Right. And one of them had just won. We went to dinner, and then that's where I met my ex. And then we went to the club, blah, blah, blah. He bought me flowers. And then we just, like, all fell asleep, like, just, like, sitting down talking. And, like, I kind of was, like, cuddled into him. And then I went to a music festival the next day. And he DM'd me, and he was like, I loved, like, spending time with you. If we can't, like, make it to, like, hang out before I leave, I hope our paths cross again. And then I got back from the music festival, and I was hungry, and I was bored. So I was like, be downstairs in 5 minutes with a jacket. We're going to get food. So he was like, done. So we went to the restaurant, and I had a conversation with this man. And it went from, like, tee-hee-hee to, you're incredible, you're so intelligent, and I want to spend time with you. And it was awesome. And he was like, I'm flying out to San Francisco next weekend. And I said, ha ha ha. And then he flew me out to San Francisco next weekend. And then I flew back. And then the next weekend, he flew me out to San Francisco again. And like our first 2 weekends, we do like 20 different dates in 3 days because we didn't have a lot of time together. He's the most hardworking man I've ever met in my life, and he was still building his company. So our weekends were just like pa, 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 pa. And then on the third weekend, he told me his life story, and he was like, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And I said, "Absolutely." And we had this beautiful relationship, and it was great. And then his company was expanding, and we were going to move to Austin or Atlanta because those are big tech hubs. And there's people coming out from colleges, and it's the East Coast, so it's better for timing, and it's better for pricing. But then for his 27th birthday, we came to visit San Diego, and we fell in love. And not Austin, Atlanta really just didn't have our hearts. Yeah. And once we came to San Diego, we were like, please, like, let's see what we can do. His CEO was like, let's just put job offers out there and see what happens. And surprisingly, San Diego had the best candidates for the same price as the East Coast.
For sure.
So we moved here, and that's how I got to this incredible city. And I say not surprisingly because everyone in San Diego lives here because they want to, and it's an incredible city, and everyone's happy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're gonna have great workers if everyone's happy with their lives.
And hardworking.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's amazing. So there's...
Holy shit.
Wowza.
Holy shit. That was an intro, right? And
that is an intro.
I'm still nervous, like shaking hands under drinking Red Bull.
I don't think you're nervous. It's just the coffee, girl.
Yeah, and Steph and I have been fortunate to know you for some time now, and this is just your natural energy.
It is.
It is wild. You and me both grew up in the Midwest. And just some quick context here. So Steph, 25 years old, grew up in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes.
I know you're in finance, investments, and banking, and risk management, and insurance. I don't even know how to put all of those together. Not enough commas.
You don't need to.
I know you were named San Diego's handstand queen. I think you're going on year 2, which is awesome.
Oh my God.
And
so
you were
flattered.
the host of the Plan D podcast, and on the side, you're a data scientist. So I want to give context. Now, anything that I'm forgetting, let me know. I want to unpack this. You brought so many good ideas to the table there, Anna. Right off the bat, though, with the dynamics, with all of us being in long-term relationships, Steph, I'd love for you to start. You guys are good-looking young females, right? And you guys have a lot of influence, whether we're talking social media, the groups you're with. I mean, it blows my mind. You guys are always on the go, right? I mean, you're always in like a different city
like
on a flight.
on another level. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still living a pace that like was not common for both you and me where we grew up.
Right.
I know we love it. Now, with that, I know you guys get a lot of attention. When it comes to men and women in their 20s, 30s, or living in San Diego, living this type of lifestyle, is it possible to be strictly platonic with the opposite sex? And what does that look like? Because I know both of you have a lot of guy friends. Just explain, what does that look like? Is it even possible?
You know, it's so hard because I used to be like, I want to meet my future husband by being friends first, staying friends for a long time. They see my ugly, they see me cry, they see me at my worst, and then they fall in love with me magically and happy ever after, whatever. Now I'm experiencing, like, when you stay platonic and you're friends, that you have to be so mindful of your ego coming out. Like, well, why isn't he asking me on a date? Why isn't he pursuing me? And then I'm like, but I'm giving off friend vibes. And it's like, I want them to like still want me. And I'm like, ego, chill out. So I used to think that was so possible. And now I'm realizing the more you spend time with someone, the more you enjoy their company, natural attraction sometimes happens. And then it's like, what do you do? Like, do you do anything? What would you do?
So I'm not in a place in my life where I am even remotely interested in falling in love, being in a relationship, or anything like that. I very much value my friendships, especially with like I have a lot of guy friends. That sounds terrible. Like you guys can like
no, it's not terrible.
Really do.
No,
really
but it's
do.
so
And
much
like
better. Yeah,
really
yeah.
The first thing that I'm gonna say is, if I get the slightest feeling from a man that it cannot be platonic, and that if we are not gonna hook up, that he's not gonna want to be around me, I don't want to be around him. You don't deserve my presence.
Right.
Like absolutely not. Why am I gonna entertain that? I'm not like, you're not gonna use me. That's all it is. So I don't even know how to explain it. I don't put people in my life that aren't willing to just be friends.
Right.
If you don't think my personality and like my light in your life is enough and you need to be physical with me and have something sexual, then we're just not on the same wavelength. And I don't need that. I have so many people in my life, like what's one person gonna like make a difference, especially because that person's heart isn't in the right place. What else was I gonna say? There was something else.
I do want to mention one thing
smart.
on that point, because the version of me prior to the 5.5-year relationship, I didn't have the capability of like having a physical attraction with someone and keeping it like platonic, right? Feeling love, getting out of love, dealing with those emotions, I think opened up a new version of me. I know the version you're looking at today, it's a vastly different Conor than 6 months ago, let alone 9 months ago. That has shifted for me. What do you think, Steph? You have a lot of guy friends too. You guys both get a lot of attention, but you continue to grow your careers. How do you balance all of this?
I mean, I'm similar to Anna, where I feel like I have more guy friends than girlfriends, to be honest.
100%.
Like I grew up with girls being mean to me, and that's just the way it was forever. And they wouldn't even know me. They would bully me in high school. Like it made me kind of have a bad taste, and it made it harder to find good girlfriends. And I'm so careful with who I hang out with that are girls, because it can be so toxic. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Girls can be so evil. And I'm sure you've experienced that too, but like social media, all of that. So I do have more male friends, and I agree with Anna that if they can't just be friends and respect me and they walk out of my life, then I'm like, please go. Because if you can't enjoy my energy and just like be around me for who I am, then I don't want to be friends with you. But I do think that here, especially in San Diego, it's actually been easier to have male friends, because people are all on their own journeys. They're all so career driven. And so when a guy finds out that I'm just looking to be friends, they are not surprised. They're not really like troubled by that. And they honestly kind of assume that going in. And I don't know if that's a vibe I give off either, that I'm just like not into a relationship right now. But I would just say it's easier here. Like, I mean, even you, like, you work so hard. You're always going. And so I think there's this understanding in San Diego that, like, we all, like, 30s are the new 20s. Like, we're all still in that growth phase, and we're all still pursuing our own journeys. So I don't know if that answered your question. I don't even know what your question was.
Is it possible to be strictly platonic? And I think there are ways. It's vastly different than where we were raised. And I'm curious for the East Coast, too, because in the Midwest, I'm going to speak on behalf of my observations. It's very like, if I'm gonna commit to one person, and like everyone's almost chasing dating, and the second you get like a little hint of it, it's like I want to fully commit. And then the next level is I'm fully committed to you. I don't talk to anyone else, right?
Yep.
And the thought of like an open relationship, right? It was not common even in the college town that I went to, right? Big
definitely.
Party school. You grew up in a big party school too.
Yes.
If you were in a relationship, fully committed. Now, when someone talked about an open relationship, I was like, how the hell does that even work? Like, are you kidding me? So you can be in a relationship, but it's like open, right? And then that led to like people that went to swinger parties and shit, and it just blew my mind. Did not make sense. Moving out here, that has shifted so much. Right. I'm curious what you guys think. How would you define an open relationship? Because what has shifted in my mind over the last 6 months is that an open relationship isn't actually a relationship. You're defining that this is me, I'm focused on my career or whatever I value right now. And if you communicate that right off the bat, and to other people, some people are down for it, right? Some people are open to that. That is vastly different than what I thought, right? Like, we're going to get into a relationship, but we're still going to see other people. I don't think that works. Defining it right off the bat is what I've come to understand. Now, out here, dating and just being around good-looking people is very casual. It's vastly different than where we're from.
So different.
And
there's no pressure.
No one's from San Diego here for the most part, right? Like, everyone's from a different part.
Yeah.
So usually if you're here, you're going to work hard because the cost of living goes up for the most part. But you want to live here. You want to be in the sun. How would you guys define an open relationship, and do they work?
You want to take it away?
Okay. I don't know, because with me personally, I would not be in an open relationship. And that's because I love, and I know that right now I'm not in a place to be in any kind of relationship, and it's not fair for me to like even open my heart and like give someone the thought that I'm going to give them like any part of me if I can't give them everything that they deserve and give them 100%. So if I'm going to be with someone, it's going to be, we're going to be dating and then we're going to get married and then like blah, blah, blah. And surprisingly, that's like what I'm looking for once I want to date again. But for now, I'm just really not, I don't want an open relationship. Like San Diego is a very open relationship type of place. Everybody's talking to everybody. Everybody's like,
everyone knows everybody.
Exactly.
Us doing this today is literally going to
ruining lives.
No, I know. Ruining lives. They're like, how do they know each other? Oh my God.
My biggest thing, I go into everything, boys are friends, not food. This city is huge. There's so many circles, but it's so small.
So small.
And I just can't put myself in a situation where it's like, Anna's been all around town.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So because of that, I'm just like not dating at all. And I can't really give my opinion on it, on like an open relationship, because it's not something that I would be open for currently. But I'm also still like just in a selfish phase where I'm like loving myself because I was in a relationship for so long, so young, and like giving all my love to someone else. So right now it's like Anna time.
Self-love.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
The magic is that's when you attract. I'm pretty sure my current theory, it's especially true for men, and I've read about it in the books and I've applied it. It definitely works, but I think it applies for women too. Work on yourself.
Oh my God.
Don't worry about anyone else. And the more you work on bettering yourself, all of a sudden you start attracting that reflection, right? You're currently attracting the work you've put into yourself, if you've put it in, right?
Yeah.
So if you
100%.
want that next higher level person, regardless if you're looking at looks, hopefully it's the values, hopefully it's like what they actually do. Do their values and actions align? What do you think? Would you ever be open? And this is really interesting coming from the Midwest. You've been out here a couple years.
1 year.
1 year.
Almost. Not even a year. I know, it's so confusing. I know. You know, if we think about like what a relationship is, it can be as vague as the connection that you just have with someone. And so like if you think about it, I have a relationship with you, I have a relationship with you. And if that's the definition, then we are all in open relationships. Like, yeah. I'm sure all of you have been on dates recently. I mean, maybe not, I shouldn't assume. But with that definition, then we're all kind of in this open relationship where we're seeing different people and we still have relationships with each of them. And so that's really interesting that you kind of brought it up that way, because I used to think it was what you said, like you're super in love, you're with this person, but then you allow each other to go, I shouldn't say allow, but like you have these like understandings that you can go and sleep with other people or, you know, date other people. Whereas when you make it more of just a broad definition, then we're kind of all doing that. And so as much as I say I couldn't ever do it, I am kind of doing it. You know, I don't think like as to Anna said, I don't think I could do it with someone that I'd be pursuing as my future partner. But right now, I guess we're all kind of in one.
Then you explain it like that, yeah.
Yeah. Because a relationship is just like, it can be a friendship. Like I have relationships with my friends. I have relationships with my parents. Like it's like we're all kind of in one right now.
It's all about like the energy that you like flow with the person. It's
right.
like I can live my life, I can do my things, but like I can go back to you. And we're gonna have a good time together. And I don't need to text you all the time, and we don't need to be together all the time.
Yeah.
But when we are together, it's amazing.
Right.
Amen.
So we're like in one.
We're in one.
We're in one.
Throuple!
Yeah! Okay.
Surprise!
Surprise, guys. That's why we all got together today.
I love it. I love it. So many questions. On that note, I talked about it on another episode, but when I grew up in a small town of 4,000 people, that blows people's minds. A lot of times I'll get the joke out here like, I had more than that in my graduating class.
Same,
and I'm like,
same.
Wild. I had 72. And it is so true. It's crazy how you start to understand these things when you put yourself in different environments, right? Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with people that are happy, genuinely happy, and that's like why we all connected. And yes, I'm trying to think of, all right, we're going to go on to the next. And then prepare, because I'm ready for your topic, because you're going to throw a wild card in there.
Oh, God. What's my topic?
You can play off of it. And I'm curious, because we all have a degree of influence. We're in our early to mid-20s. And I think people on the outside could look and go, oh, that's a cool life. And I think where I grew up, I look at people, like what we're doing in ways, and go, oh, they've got to be superficial, right? And then you meet these people, and you're like, damn, there's a lot of really high-quality people.
Substance.
Yeah. But I think for a lot of people, where the hell are we going to be in 20 years? Like, where will our careers be? Because I think on the outside, and I actually want you to start this one, Anna. Steph and I, maybe I don't want to speak for you, but I can't believe that you get work done. I thought you had to have lost your job like 60 days
Oh my
ago.
God, I know, same.
You are always by a pool.
She's literally in LA every day.
All the time, just all over the place. And you're hanging around cool people. Steph, you are too. And we just came from a place where our upbringing wasn't that fast paced, I feel like. So
absolutely
we're like slowly
not.
getting into it.
We came out from the
But Anna,
top.
for you, explain what you do for work, because you have a really cool position, and when you're not reading children's books on Zoom to volunteer, you are running a nonprofit, and what does that look like? And then where I want to take this for both of us, or all three of us, is like, where will our career be in 20 years? So for you, 43 years old, where will you be living, and what will you be known for?
So, so I work for a nonprofit. It's called Hannah's Family Center. We actually just went through a name change and we're going through an expansion. We have 3 different sectors. It's supervised visitations and exchanges, a therapy center where we do everything from like conjoint and individual therapy, therapy with children, and like anger management classes or things like that. We have a resource center itself that does everything from like helping you find a job to like wellness checks. And then we're expanding to have a drug and alcohol assessment clinic. So we have wraparound family services. We're gonna do everything that a family could need, from before the child is born to if you're having marital problems, not having marital problems but still wanna work on it, to even after the divorce when you're dealing with custody and things like that. I love it. I love my job so much, and I'm so blessed to have it. I actually applied for the job after seeing like a volunteer opportunity when I was just moving here. I didn't really have a job, and my ex had his company moving here, and I wanted more for myself. So I was just volunteering at multiple places, looking for different things to do, and I found them on a volunteer website. And then I also saw that they were hiring. So I harassed everyone in the company until they brought me in for the interview. Emailed everyone, I sent them my resume, and then I sent them a huge email going, this is my resume, but this is why you need to hire me. And the director was like, get her in right now. And I did the interview for the receptionist job. And by the end of the interview, they were like, okay, do you have any questions for us? And I said, when do I start? And they were like, we have to interview 4 more people today. And I was like, okay, just let me know when my start date is. And
Assumptive behavior, the social seller.
oh my God, like, I knew I killed that interview. They weren't going to hire anyone else. What are we going to do? You know what? We found the best, but let's go for middle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So they hired me, and I quickly just like worked my way up. And until like a little bit ago, I was doing operations. And that, I reinvented the wheel, honestly. I was learning everything from like creating a procedure for hiring to like grants and redoing the entire facility once COVID hit, and just doing so much. I recently transferred my position from operations to corporate relations and social media because I am thinking about transitioning out of this job within the next year. I love my job so much. It is an amazing experience. I'm so young, and it does get me through. I make enough money to like live a good life, but it's not creating a career for myself. I know that I can't quit right now because I can't hire anyone to learn and do everything that I do. I have my hand in every single part of that company. But I do know that there's like so many tech companies that want me to work for them, etc. And I want to build a career for myself, and I want to start building my life. And so I'm going to transition out of my job and into a new one within the next year. How I get work done. So I travel a lot. I accidentally spent 2 months in Miami. It was lots of fun, and I'm always out. Like I said, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I get energy from people. I get energy from experiences. And I have so many friends, and I love making new friends. And for almost 3 years of my life, I had no friends. I had nothing. I had no one other than one human being that I gave all of my energy to. And although he was the most amazing man in the world, he did not have the energy to give back to me. And I now get that. and I see what I can do and the power that I have to spread to a bunch of people instead of just one person, and I get it back just from like existing and seeing people smile. So I'm always out, and I'm always looking for fun, and that makes it hard to have a regular work time. So what I do is my screen on my computer is like 6 different things. I have my notes with reminders, I have my emails, I have multiple emails that I check for my job, I have my things that I have to do, and I will see the things that I can do, like the day, like I don't have to do it, like it's not a Tuesday meeting, it's a document that I need to get ready. And I get all of those things, and Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't sleep. I do all-nighters, and I just work. I work so that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and many times Monday, because I know it can be hectic and I rather be proactive, I can do whatever I want and just upkeep everything else. So I have everything done, everything scheduled, and then whenever something comes up during the other days, I go and I finish those and I do those, and that's how I keep up with work. Do you want me to answer where I want to be in 20 years?
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing it full circle. And first off, later I want to talk about the sustainability of that lifestyle, because there's not many people that can do that. I know for me, that would not work with how routine I am. Yes, where the hell will you be, Anna, in 20 years? Will you be living in San Diego, and what will you be known for?
I will not be living in San Diego. I love it here. It's incredible, it's beautiful, but it's amazing for young me.
Amen.
This is not where I want to spend the rest of my life. It's funny because people see me and they see my life and they see my social media and they're like, okay, she's a party animal. This girl is like always drinking. She's like on drugs, blah, blah, blah. No, and I want a family. And it's crazy to me that I'm no longer in that relationship and I'm just living. But when I decide to settle down, get married, I'm probably gonna want to live in Florida near my family. Miami area, I love Miami. I love the weather in Florida. I love the sunshine.
Me too.
And it's so much more affordable. And I want to go be near my family to start a family. When it comes to my job, I want to have my own yoga studio. This is about to be very uncomfortable for me. I've never said this out loud, and now I'm saying it on a podcast. I've said it out loud, but I've never said it to a place where the people involved can hear. And I'm a very happy person. It's very rare for you to see me crying. Part of dating an extremely successful and influential man is I made myself as well-rounded as possible. I was not arm candy. I was someone that he was going to be proud of. So not only did I have my full-time job, but I also did yoga teacher training. And I won't name the company that I did it with, but it was me and 11 other girls and the teachers. And everyone there, I learned about yoga. I had only done yoga like 3 times, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the yoga teacher training. And I put myself in there, and everyone there was so nice. And everyone there was so sweet. And I had nobody except my ex. And I had like 3 other friends, but yeah. And they all talked about love. And they all talked about sisterhood in the most beautiful way. And I felt none of it. I couldn't relate. Like, we'd show up and be like, I love you. Like, we're going to have this friendship forever. And I'd just be like, why are you saying that to me? We don't have anything in common. We're not even friends. And that really started eating at me. And then the more I learned about yoga and the more I learned about the reasonings that people go and what's happening in that place, and the more I studied the dynamics there, the more I realized that this was not it for me and I wanted to change it. My end goal in my life is to have my own yoga studio. I want to have it red light. I want to include red light therapy into the heated vinyasa classes, because red light therapy is incredible for you in so many ways. It's such an expensive thing as well. So like putting it into people's day-to-day lives and just like being able to better people's healths is amazing. But my biggest thing is being able to have a place where people can come in and they can feel seen and they can feel loved, and I can put my personality and my love into a place, and everyone that walks in there knows they matter. I want to create a safe atmosphere of healing and of just like growth, and create a community where I can hire people that I know are a good reflection of who I am and my personality and my morals, and create a place where it's actual happiness. Because I've seen the corporate place where if you're not an attractive young person, people don't even talk to you. They don't even stop the conversation. The people that are checking you in do not stop their conversation while you're checking in. They just like go, what time? And they're like, yeah, Brittany,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. And you just check in and you're invisible. These people pay so much money to feel invisible.
Yeah.
There is so much more that goes into it than just a workout. And I just want to, just like Hannah's Family Center is wraparound, I want to have a center where it's wraparound, where you go in there for the healing, where you go in there for the friendship, where you go in there for the love. I want to create a safe space full of love and just a place where people know that they can go to and know they care. Like if Stephanie doesn't come to her 6 p.m. class 3 times in a row, I'm like, hey, I'm just checking in. Like, is everything okay? Because she always comes. It's showing people that they matter and they care, because that starts a chain. And that's my biggest thing, is like changing people, because people are so, like, changing people for the better. You're just using your personality and your happiness, because people are so like into like, oh, money, oh, cars, oh, like what can you do for me? Like, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. No. You can just be nice to someone, and that can change their entire life. And I want to be a center where even if I'm making my city or my community 1% better every day, I am. So that's my end goal. And then I want to have 3 kids.
3 kids? Yes. 2 boys, 1 daughter?
No, I don't know. So I know about the 2, and then I want the 3rd one to be a surprise. I want a boy called Xander Thomas, and then I want a girl called Nicolette Lee, and then the other one's gonna be a wild card, and I'll let the father choose that stuff.
It'll be like twins.
Oh yeah, relax.
The wild card.
Have like a triplet. Yeah.
I love that, and you haven't shared that with me yet. Maybe with
Me
Steph.
either.
Yeah,
No, me
I love
either.
it. To talk about careers, because I think, again, people on the outside don't realize. I think you start to build influence when you take action aligned with your values, and when people see you're actually living the life you're talking about, like taking the action every day, right? There's a lot of unappealing things that we're doing every day amongst our morning routines, our nighttime routines, that to some people would be boring. And I've seen it in relationships. People are like, I don't vibe with that. Like, you live like a grandpa, Connor. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it makes me so fucking
Same.
happy.
Same.
It makes me so happy. And what I love there is it is centered around love, the strongest emotion in the universe, right? Now, I
Yeah.
still don't fully have context over what that means, but I do know love is all around us, and the more present we are, the more we see it, whether it's in nature, it's a sunset, a sunrise, or it's a person you meet, right? That aligns with your values. Knowing you, absolutely do it. And I took the spiritual path of like getting into meditation, and what I learned in college doing hot yoga a handful of times, loved it because it made me a hell of a lot more flexible. And then when I walked out drenched in sweat, I felt like I got a workout.
I know.
I didn't realize that it's almost like Tai Chi, right? It's meditation or presence incorporating fitness, right? So when you really get into levels of yoga, you start realizing, you start focusing on breath, which is the same as meditation, right? Because if you're focusing on the breath, you're present, right? So I love that. And for a lot of people, I think that makes so much sense. And I think it plants the seed for a spiritual life. And when you live some degree of a spiritual life, you incorporate a lot more love and you're open to a lot more things. You know that you're not fighting the world or trying to swim upstream. Because I went through a long period of life, like I was always feeling like I had to swim upstream.
Yeah.
And like a year ago, I started just having full trust. Like this is all happening for me, right? Even when adversity happens. Now it seems like adversity never happens just because of the lens and some of the practice we can all do.